My ex-husband ran off to Las Vegas with his girlfriend, taking thousands of dollars from our daughter's education fund as if it meant nothing. When I saw the account balance, my legs simply gave out beneath me. I ended up on the cold kitchen floor, clutching my phone so tightly my fingers began to ache. The banking app was still open on the screen, the same numbers flashing over and over like a cruel joke. The savings we had built little by little over the years had almost vanished. That account had never been just money. It had been late shifts at the clinic when I could barely keep my eyes open. It had been the tax refunds he used to promise would change our lives. It had been holiday envelopes from my mother, always sent with a hopeful note about Emma's future. Every deposit had carried a dream. And now those dreams felt like dust slipping through my hands. I called him before I could even think. He answered almost immediately, as if he had been expecting the call. But the sound of his laughter stopped my breath. It was careless, distant, unfamiliar. "So you finally noticed," he said. Behind him I heard music, the clatter of slot machines, voices that didn't belong to our life. "Those were Emma's savings," I whispered, struggling to keep my voice steady. "Relax," he replied. "I'll put it back. I just needed a little time." Then a woman's voice cut through the noise, playful and confident. "Hey, drinks are ready." He laughed again, louder this time, and the line went dead. For a long while I didn't move. Outside the kitchen window, the evening carried on like nothing had changed. Cars passed. Neighbors walked home with grocery bags. Somewhere a dog barked. The world continued in its ordinary rhythm while mine felt shattered beyond repair. When Emma came home from school, she stopped in the doorway the moment she saw me. Children sense storms before they hear thunder. "What happened?" she asked quietly. I tried to hide my tears, but the words slipped out anyway. "Your father took the money." I expected anger or panic. I expected her to cry. Instead, she set down her backpack and sat beside me on the floor. Her presence was warm and steady, like an anchor in rough water. "Mom, don't worry," she said after a moment. "I have a surprise for him." I didn't have the strength to ask what she meant. The following days blurred into exhaustion. I picked up extra shifts, worked mornings in one place and nights in another. My head throbbed from lack of sleep. Bills stacked up on the counter like silent accusations. He never called. Then one night my phone rang while I sat on the edge of my bed staring at the dark ceiling. The number was unfamiliar, but something inside me knew who it was. I answered and was met not with charm or excuses, but with shouting. "What did you do?" he demanded. "Why did you report me?" The fury in his voice was edged with fear. For a second I couldn't even understand the question. "I didn't report anything," I said slowly. "My accounts are frozen," he snapped. "They're investigating me. Someone told them I took money from a miner's trust." His words echoed in my mind, colliding with Emma's calm promise about a surprise. The call ended abruptly, leaving a heavy silence behind. I walked down the hallway and stopped outside her room. Light spilled through the half-open door. She was sitting on her bed with her laptop, typing with intense concentration. "What did you do?" I asked softly. She hesitated, then closed the screen and looked up at me. "You always told me that if someone does something wrong, the right thing is to tell the truth," she said. "So I did." She explained that when the bank notification appeared, she had searched online for what happens when a parent steals from a child's fund. She had found an official form. She had filled it out herself, her hands probably trembling yet determined. "Those savings were for my future," she added. In that moment I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or simply hold her forever. Pride and sorrow tangled inside my chest. That night I lay awake, thinking about the years with Mark. About the promises that had always sounded convincing until reality arrived. About how often I had ignored the quiet voice inside me that knew better. For the first time, I allowed myself to imagine a life without his chaos. The thought didn't terrify me the way it once had. It felt possible. Weeks later, he called again. His tone had changed completely. No music, no laughter, just a tired man speaking from somewhere far away. "Can we talk?" he asked. I stood by the living room window watching snow fall in slow, silent spirals. "There's nothing left to talk about," I replied. A long pause followed. "I ruined everything, didn't I?" "Yes," I said, because honesty was the only gift I had left to give him. When the call ended, I returned to the kitchen. Emma was doing her homework at the table. The refrigerator held little more than milk, eggs, and a leftover slice of pizza wrapped in foil. Our life had become simple and uncertain. Yet the heaviness that once filled the room was gone. "Mom," she said without looking up, "we can start saving again. It will take time, but we will." Her confidence made me smile for the first time in what felt like forever. Standing there in that quiet kitchen, I realized something important. Justice does not always arrive wearing a suit or speaking from a courtroom bench. Sometimes it comes in the form of courage, small, unexpected, and powerful enough to change the direction of a life. That night marked not an ending, but a beginning. A fragile new chapter built on truth, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her daughter. And for the first time since everything fell apart, the future no longer looked like a dark tunnel. It looked like a long road we were finally ready to walk together.